After the passionate moment at the end of the second-year arc, an undeniable question arises when Volume 1 of the third-year arc is finally released. They had sex, so why are not they dating? Having sex just for fun is not something uncommon, but we know that Ichinose already has a feeling for Ayanokoji ever since Volume 9 of the first-year arc, so she is surely expecting something more for their relationship. And yet, Ichinose calmly answers everyone who asks that she and Ayanokoji don't have that kind of relationship. Perhaps there is no actual reason for them to officially become a couple, but since this is Ayanokoji who always planning how much breath he should take in a day, maybe there is a bigger reason behind their decision. So, let's take a look at it one by one. Back in the second-year arc when Ayanokoji and Kei started dating, Ayanokoji actually didn't mind letting their relationship go public. However, Kei asked him not to since she was not ready for the sudden change, especially because she would feel guilty for Sato. If Ayanokoji learns from that experience, he should understand that the impact of his relationship will also affect the people around him, and since he just broke up with Kei, dating Ichinose right away will definitely invite unnecessary gossip. It's not like it will impact him, but the one who will get impacted the most is definitely Kei. If Kei heard that her greatest fear came true, it would double her misery and could lead to her being so broken that she could not even go to school. Considering Ayanokoji's grand plan, he surely doesn't want Kei to break that early because she is important for his plan. Just like in the case of Horikita, Ayanokoji will feed her poison bit by bit to build the immunity so she could grow stronger, and that is the first possibility. However, if that is the only problem, there should be no problem if they are just dating in secret. It's possible in theory, but there will be a lot of problems in reality. First, both Ichinose and Ayanokoji are quite famous students and leaders of their class, so their movements are not as flexible as before. It wouldn't be strange if there were 1 or 2 people ordered to follow them everywhere, so having a secret date is not even plausible. And the second reason why dating in secret is not possible is because Ichinose cannot lie to her classmates, or to anyone in general. Lying is forbidden, and publicly dating is also not possible, so it just makes sense to not dating at all. A romantic relationship between 2 class leaders also wouldn't look good in the eyes of their classmates, because at the end of the day, they are still an enemy, and there is only one class that could graduate as Class A. Although most of Ichinose's classmates wouldn't have trouble with it since they blindly trust Ichinose, Ayanokoji's classmates would not happy with it. Even though Ichinose admits her feelings for Ayanokoji in front of her classmates, as long as Ayanokoji keeps denying it, his classmates will keep trusting him. If we took Ayanokoji's grand plan into calculation, there would be a lot of new possibilities to consider. Ayanokoji needs Ichinose to gather information, because Ichinose's popularity is the best in the whole school. However, if Ayanokoji publicly dates Ichinose, Ichinose's popularity will decrease whether they want it or not. It's just natural that a single girl will attract more attention than a girl in a relationship. If Ichinose is an idol, dating Ayanokoji will be the same as asking for a death threat. That's why leaving Ichinose alone should be the best strategic move, so the boys will keep swarming around her and try to win her attention. As for Ayanokoji, not dating Ichinose will also help Ayanokoji to cover the cooperation between their classes, deal a mental attack to the enemy with uncertainty, and keep him safe from an unexpected threat called Ichinose. He never knows when Ichinose will surprise him again, so it's better not to get emotionally too close with her. By keeping Ayanokoji from having a girlfriend, Kinugasa also let the waifu war keep running for the next few volumes. Now that Ayanokoji has officially break up with Kei, a few girls will surely try to get close to him, whether it's Shiraishi or Morishita. Since waifu war is one of the best-selling points of this series, we cannot really blame Kinugasa for this decision, since some fans of other heroines will most likely drop the series if they realize their favorite no longer has any chance. However, despite all the reasons to not date, both Ayanokoji and Ichinose seem to not hesitate to show their closeness to the public. It's been stated that they have been going to school together for the past few days before the special exam, and it's already become quite a hot gossip among the students. They could easily make an excuse that they are just discussing their class cooperation, but something doesn't feel right with that answer, because it contradicts the point of keeping their cooperation a secret. To answer that question, perhaps we should try to look deeper at Ichinose's current character development. Volume 12.5 gave us a clear answer of Ichinose's view on Ayanokoji. Ichinose realizes that Ayanokoji is just manipulating everyone, breaking them, and then fixing them as he sees fit. However, even if she knew about it, Ichinose cannot bring herself to hate Ayanokoji. On the contrary, she wanted to meet him more than everyone else in the school, even more than her own family. She knows Ayanokoji doesn't love her, and she accepted it. However, Ichinose skipped a few steps and demanded a deeper and more undeniable relationship between them. The night of the promise is a ceremony, not to declare them as lovers, but an absolute pact that was born of mutual need. They will use each other and let themselves be used by the others. And with that pact, they united in the deepest way possible, devouring each other. In Volume 1 of the third-year arc, Ichinose makes it even more clear in her conversation with Kei. She said she is not good enough for Ayanokoji, and they are definitely not a couple. However, Ichinose is fine with that. Just the fact that she loves Ayanokoji is enough for her, and she didn't hope for Ayanokoji to return that feeling, and that's why they are not, and will never become a couple. A couple is a relationship between two people who like each other, not a relationship between two people who take advantage of each other. Ichinose could force Ayanokoji to become her boyfriend if she wants, but she will be the one who knows the most that it will just become a fake relationship that wouldn't last long, just like Ayanokoji's relationship with Kei. And yet, Ichinose is fine even if she doesn't receive any love. However, she cannot forgive it. Just like how Ayanokoji leaves his mark on Ichinose's heart without permission, Ichinose also wants to leave her mark on Ayanokoji. A mark that cannot be erased, deep and unforgettable. Simply speaking, Ayanokoji and Ichinose's relationship is already far beyond a simple high schooler romance, and downgrading it to a simple dating is such a disrespectful move. This relationship between Ayanokoji and Ichinose somehow reminds me of Atsuomi and Mika, where they are having sex not because of love, but for their own benefit. Of course they are not as corrupted as the adults, but seeing Ayanokoji slowly turn just like his father is something that leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Ichinose knows full well that Ayanokoji will never return her feelings. However, it didn't explain why Ichinose keeps being so close with Ayanokoji, to the point they almost act like a couple. They didn't need to walk to school together. It's even lightly mentioned that they keep doing their illicit activity on a special night. Ichinose must have realized that all forms of intimacy will just hurt her even more when the time to say goodbye finally comes, and yet, she still chose to get hurt. Ichinose loves Ayanokoji, and that is an undeniable fact. Looking at Ichinose's current mentality, she probably wants to take as much as she can as long as she still has a chance. Even if she doesn't have a chance to be with Ayanokoji in the future, she wants to make sure Ayanokoji will never forget about her by engraving as many marks as she can. So even if they will never meet again, a part of her will always remain with Ayanokoji. The way Ichinose is getting close with Ayanokoji in public, openly admitting her feelings for her classmates, and keeping the rumor fresh, it's all probably part of Ichinose's plan. This is just my crazy thought, but I think Ichinose doesn't want any other girls to have Ayanokoji. Even if she cannot have him, she wouldn't let anyone else put their fingers on Ayanokoji. In that way, Ichinose will become the only one who remains in Ayanokoji's heart. Even if Ayanokoji cannot love her, as long as Ichinose is the only one who could touch his heart, that's all that Ichinose wants.